Nahfconnects for Africa and the world is here once again today to present a new project. This project is a project that will enable young Africans to get first-hand information before they come to Japan for anything. The name of this project is Nandemo Kiichaou. Nandemo Kiichaou is a Japanese word that translates to English as ask any kind of question you want. And we will find experts who will answer these questions for you so that you will not blame anybody. I strongly believe that the first person you meet whenever you visit Japan might determine your fate because of the kind of advice you will receive from such people. Before we go into this project will also help Japanese people who would want to know more about Africans living in Japan and even information about Africa firsthand from experts. Let me start today by introducing the first guest of this project. It's a wonderful project. It's really very, very huge that the panelists that we have today, our special guest today, if you know their profile, I don't know if I can read all because I have tried to, I managed to reduce the ones that I know that has expired. Because if you start reading their profile today, it will take us the whole of 24 hours. Let me start from my right-hand side, if I'm not mistaken. The name, please, you should know the person who is teaching you today. This is very, very important. Because when you love your teacher, when you love your mistress, when you love anybody that teaches you, you will definitely understand what that person is trying to teach you. This is very important. My name is Naji Kennedy Fintan. Let me introduce myself first. And I will be the coordinator of today's program. Next to my right, let me introduce him, is Mr. Ikenna Steve Nweke. I think when I mentioned this name, you must have heard this name before. Mr. Ikenna Steve Nweke. I've heard this name. What happened? Let me say that Mr. Ikenna Steve Nweke is the current president of Ufot Club International and Rebrand Nigeria ambassador. It doesn't end up there. He's the founder, Ikenna Nweke Foundation, teaching assistant, University of Tsukuba, visiting lecturer, bachelor's program in global issues, University of Tsukuba, the same university. Doctoral student, University of Tsukuba, recommended for national honors by the Nigerian House of Representatives. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Mr. Ikenna Steve Nweke. Mr. Ikenna Steve Nweke, you're welcome.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Before we continue, let me introduce our next special guest and your lecturer today on the questions we have received from many people. It might interest you to know who is this man with these carved beards. As young as he is a doctor. Although, let me not make, you always make a mistake in writing doctor. I always want you to put doctor engineer so that people will know that your doctor is not is not a common doctor. Yes, he is Dr. Engineer Ufot, Ekong. He's from Akwa Ibom. You may need to know where is he from. From Akwa Ibom. Mr. Ufot Ekong, doctor, sorry, I don't want to use that word. Dr. Ufot Ekong is arrived in Japan in April 2009, pursued his academic, presently working at one of the biggest Japanese electrical companies. I would have loved to mention the name, but I wouldn't know what, there are a lot of patent issues that will hinder that. It might also interest to know that Mr. Ufot Ekong received a great award from the Akwa Ibom government because of his genius activities. Someone who can make a difference in Japan, who has solved a mathematical problem that has been left pending in Japan for many years. And based on that, he is a great ambassador of Akwa Ibom. Akwa Ibom has honored him greatly with a lot of things. A lot of Nobel Prizes awaits all of them. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome this wonderful. He said he is fluent in English and Japanese. Also, title, a little Efik. I will come there later. What do you mean by a little Efik? Efik is your mother tongue, probably. And also, please remember his favorite quote is continuity is power. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Engineer Ufot Ekong in today's program. Thank you very much. You're welcome, Dr. Ufot Ekong.
Pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. The main program why we're here today is to, Nandemo Kiichaou, which is every question that comes from Nahfconnects community. We want you, who are the pioneers of different ways of coming to Japan to study. Many came through scholarship, many came through next scholarship, many came, on their own, find admission, started studying, a lot of ways. And I'm sure here today, Mr. Kenaweke from Imo State. Which part of Imo State are you from? I didn't mention.
From Isi Alamba.
Isi Alamba. So I didn't want to hear the other names today. It's Isi Alamba not today that we'll be talking about. Yes. So, of course, they came in different ways. And many people have doubts. How can we come to Japan to study? What happens and whatever. So today we picked a question we sent out a kind of a questionnaire that people should send in their questions of things they do not know about Japan concerning scholarship schemes. And we are really happy that we received information from different people in Africa who, would be scholars, would be students, would be, representatives or ambassadors of Africa to Japan. And I would love to go to their questions immediately so that these scholars here, researchers, and whatever you want to know today will answer your questions immediately. You're welcome, Mr. Kenner and Dr. Ufot Ekong. Thank you very much for honoring our invitation, Nahfconnects invitation. The topic today is about studying in Japan, and there are a lot of questions have emerged from Nahfconnects community. Let's take the first question here. The first question is from Mr. Anyanwu, as he's given them. He's a Nigerian. And it goes, I read as he sends the question to you. May I know the best way to gain admission in a Japanese university from Africa? Dr. Fort, how do you think is the simplest way to apply for any Japanese university or even secondary school from Africa?
I think the question has to be more specific.
Yes.
In order for us to assist with the best or the
exactly.
most,
it's too vast.
Answer. And I say this because most Japanese universities only offer undergraduate in Japanese. Yeah. And then you could also, masters could be done in English, PhD could be done in English, postgraduate could be done in English. So if the person's question was directed at masters, then it's a different, masters and PhD is a different thing as compared to bachelor's degree. But I'll take it like he is asking about bachelor's degree.
Exactly.
Now, most bachelor degrees, like I stated earlier, since they are done in Japanese language, the lectures and the examinations, most of the time what is done is you first go through a Japanese language school for a year or a year and a half, in my case a year and a half. Most engineering and science students go through for a year and a half, and economics, arts will basically take a year, and the reason is because after learning the basics of Japanese language, you also have to understand the sciences, chemistry, physics, what is load in Japanese as compared to in English. So that extra half of a year is always towards that effect. But then, so because of this, when I say structure, a lot of Japanese universities also have a language school inside the university.
The university, okay.
So in my case, it's the same, and for other, a lot of private universities offer this, where you first apply for the language school with the intention of graduating from the language school to go into a bachelor's degree. So
yeah,
when you're making the application from abroad as to maybe I want to study electrical electronics engineering,
yeah.
you make that first application that contains that 5.5 year plan. That is the 1 year, 1.5 for the language.
Yeah, yes.
And so if you apply, the school takes you from there, things documentation, visa and whatnot follows. So basically the process is you applying to a school, if it's for a bachelor's degree, a school that offers a language course, or you go to a Japanese language school that can assist you in obtaining a visa. Because at the end of the day, your bags.
Such Japanese language schools are in every country, or because they have one in Cameroon, and do they have some Japanese language schools in Nigeria?
Japanese language schools in Nigeria, fine, maybe they might be, but it has to be a language school that can support you in getting a visa.
I understand.
Right?
Yes.
Because, for instance, for private universities here, the university, once you pass their admission screening, the university then takes takes the responsibility of applying to the immigration for what is called a certificate of eligibility.
Yeah.
So you are not applying to the Japanese immigration. The university will take, after selecting you, giving you admission, the university will ask for some more documents, and on your behalf they will apply to the immigration. They get that certificate of eligibility, then they will send it to you in the country where, for instance, if you're in Nigeria, they'll send it to you in Nigeria. With that certificate of eligibility, you then go to the Japanese embassy, for instance, in Abuja, and apply for your student visa. Without that COE, that's a certificate of eligibility, you can apply for student visa.
Yes, thank you very much, Dr. Ufot Ekong. I think this person here, actually his question is so broad, like you said, because he didn't identify the particular sector you want to, go to. But
may I come in briefly?
Yeah, definitely, you're coming there now. Wait, I'm coming. So the thing again, maybe most people like him would want to know is, where do they apply for? Yes, language school, pass through a language school, or contact the school directly by yourself to apply, and then if you pass, then they will send you. Mr. Kenna Weke, do you have anything to add there? The best way, again, to, of course, take for instance the person is coming for masters, or is coming for, research fellow, as a PhD fellow. So what's the best option, do you think?
For me, I think Japan since 2010 has been kind of open or more liberal in terms of education. So the former Prime Minister Abe Shinzo came up with what he called Global 30 program, which I benefited from. So a lot of Japanese universities, just as my brother Ekong said, don't really offer bachelor's program in English, but more and more universities are coming up to offer English programs, like University of Tokyo, my university, Tsukuba, Nagoya. Almost all the national universities in Japan are now have introduced what they call either Global 30 program or any other English program that they have. So these are
even at the bachelor level.
At bachelor's level, because I came to Japan through Global 30 program, and I started from the undergraduates too. So it's an English program. So there is now an opportunity for students from Africa to apply directly to this school, even without having Japanese language proficiency. So they can actually apply directly.
Get the name of the school, get the contact, and then apply directly online.
Mostly national universities. That's government owned.
Government owned universities.
Because he's in the government, right? And I went all the way through private. So it's a little bit of two different sides of the.
It's good because many people want to know the.
I think even now there are some private universities
that have started.
Like I know very well about Toyo University.
Okay.
Toyo University, and even was said that Meiji Keio.
Yes, yes.
So some of them are now because
going towards it. Yeah.
Exactly. So and I think there's also another program. It's University in Nagoya Business University, something like that. So they also offer it. And again, about especially those from Nigeria, there is a Japanese Language and Culture Center inside the University of Abuja.
Yeah, so recently, I think they started recently.
Yeah, so yes, I think they are working with a Tayo company. So you can also...
Please repeat that again, because many people wouldn't have this information. Let them know again that there's a new opening at the University of Abuja.
Oh yes. Yeah. There is a Japanese Language Center, Culture and Center inside the University of Abuja. So where you can actually learn Japanese language and Japanese culture. 2 days ago, I spoke with the professor in charge, and because I am also trying to see, because Nigeria is a very huge country, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to see if we can start a Japanese Language and Culture Center in the southern part of Nigeria, either Lagos, Enugu, or Calabar, or Port Harcourt. So
Imo State, you didn't even mention Imo.
Southeast. Southeast. So I'm still working on that to see.
You left Imo and you were talking about Akwa Ibom, man.
No, we are
anyway. Yes, yeah, you're right.
So I just went into the southern part of Nigeria.
The roads are good. We can get to
We're not talking about road here now.
No, I'm saying the network is good. So anywhere they place it in the south, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
That's
one way or the other.
Exactly.
That's a good one. Thank you really very much. I think the information has been given. If you want to know more, Mr. Anyanwu, if you want to know more about these things, of course, the world is a global village.
May I ask something quickly again?
Yeah, okay.
If you are coming for masters, for graduate school, as my brother said, you can actually, if you don't want to apply for a scholarship, you can actually contact a school directly and come as a research student, which you can do for 6 months, or 1 year, and then you can now take their entrance exam properly. Some of the programs might be in English. So if they're in English, that is fair enough. You can just contact the school directly, and then what the school will ask you to do is to get a professor who will be interested in your research project.
Sorry to cut you short. I think when it comes to research and postgraduate, postdoc, PhD, it solely ends at the hand of the professor.
Oh yes.
And I think, if you're sincere and if you're hardworking and someone sees that you have the zeal to want to do something, there are a lot of professors who
want to absorb you.
Because I know my professor used to but say he used to get almost 30 to 40 emails a week of people who want to do postdocs.
Okay.
And he used to complain, I have to reply these people in between a week so that I don't keep them waiting and then give them a bad news at the end of the day. But I think just a little, if I would add, is that Google has made things easy. I mean, not even Google, the internet. When I came in 2009, I applied myself. I didn't come with any scholarships, and I went straight into private school and I did all that. So searching on the internet, why I was saying the internet, Google is very useful. Is a lot of people are writing blogs about their experiences and how even if they're not Nigerians, they could be Australians, Americans, you could get a lot of information on the internet now as compared to 2007, 2008, where it was limited.
Ever since I joined, the team of investing on IT-related matters, I've been on the net, I've been searching for results, getting questions from Bezos, Zuckerberg, how do they get there? You get the point very clear. Researching. To be very honest, I come to realize that most of our people tend not to read, have no time to surf the net, to understand what is going on. Take for instance, when Mr. Ken Naweke published the Next Scholarship Program, I copied from there again and then published for people to know exactly what is going on. But you can't believe it. You still have people who come, how do we do this?
I get that.
Did you get that?
I get that a lot.
Please help me, sir. So our people want to hear from the horse's mouth. And then you say your experience, And then I always tell them, smart students who can make it to, these scholarship schemes and programs don't ask much questions. They sort for these things themselves. Once the link is there, they've known what to do. They know where to apply, and they want to, But there are still people.
I think it's what sociologists call McDonaldization. People want it like McDonald's. It's hot.
Thank you.
Fast food. They don't want to.
Call you back to bring.
But what we're discussing, bringing it back to the same topic, is that when, like he was saying, for PhD and for masters, when you're trying to get into a professor to buy into you and then to say, okay, come and join my research, I'm going to pay you, sponsor your visa and whatnot. The amount of information you can put in that email.
Yes.
And I think it's also the same thing in job interviews.
You're talking about curriculum vitae.
No, I mean
information.
No, like you're saying, like you're saying, researching on universities and this. When you research so much on what that university lab is doing, what the professor has been doing in the last 20 years, and you put it in that email, like, I've seen that you've been working on this for the last 20 years. I've seen that the papers you gave in 2003 were this response, and I've seen that you guys have made this, and I can see that you guys, if people read and search and read, and then bring it to the table. I mean, when I was going for my first company interview, when I told them what the company had been doing for the last 20 years, and where I see them going another 10 years, they were surprised. How did you know all this? I said, I've been studying this company for long. So it brings back what you were trying to say, of people not reading. I mean, research. And it's that research that gives you more value for the information.
More value, because you pen everything down. Anyway, I mean, we will not just spend too much time on only one question, because I think he who has ears should prepare to, listen. These, intellectuals here have given you a clue. What they can give you is a clue of what you want to hear, and the rest depends on you to make a research on that. They have given you now, even Mr. Ikenna just mentioned too, from even bachelors you can now study in the question is here, we're coming there too. You can study in English, it depends on the course. Then if it's a research, of course, Dr. Ufot Ekong has given you a very good clue. Research about the professor you want to know what he's doing, whether it answers in resonance with what you want to do, and then how you prepare your dissertations and whatever. So, I mean, when you send him a letter, he will be shocked.
Yes.
And say, yes, this is the kind of person I want to work with. You understand? So
let me chip in briefly. I like the point Ufot raised.
Yeah.
Study much about the professor to know what he's doing, because you can be writing to somebody outside his interest.
Yeah, thank you.
And again, it's also important for you to state what you have been doing over the years. You can be a trader. I get that a lot. You've been doing business, but suddenly you want to come into research.
Even with that, what do you bring to the table?
Exactly. What have you been doing over the years? You have to state that you left school 5 years ago, and since then you've been doing this.
Yes.
And this is why I'm coming to you, because I believe you are doing this. And then there's a place of meeting between your research and my research. And then if you accept me, this is where I see myself, as he stated clearly, in the next couple of years.
Yes.
So the problem is, people, not that they don't just read, which is also a very big problem, but sometimes they don't just define what they want to do.